things with smell. So that's more for dogs. But humans do too. For example, if you've been learning a song like intensively, and there's been a perfume in that room, a special perfume in that room only, while you've been learning this song, as soon as you smell that perfume, you'll think of that song wherever you go in the world. If it's like
actually, Emmanuel has this special perfume he only uses for performances.
Only for performances with Ringmasters.
Yeah, and every time I smell it, it could be like on the subway, I straight away go to like, oh, it's a performance.
Yeah, international stage. Like, okay,
that's funny.
Yeah. And you can get into a mindset, but it doesn't matter. Yeah.
When you're using the part CDs, you're starting with your own part predominant. When do you move to, like Rasmus mentioned, using part missing?
Yeah.
And using full mix, and you've talked about using all of those tools. Can you describe a little bit for us how you use those tools and what order and all of that?
So I usually start with the full mix because I want to get a feeling for the song itself. Yeah. I don't start by just start digging my part straight away. I just listen to the song, 5 times maybe, and like I recognize things, and I start memorizing things. I even start memorizing my own part, even though I'm not working on memorizing my part yet. And then I'll go over to, if I'm not holding, sometimes you're on like the subway or in your car and you can't look at stuff. Then I will go over to a predominant or a lefty or something that I can really hear my part, and I just run it like 10 times at least. Like I can have iTunes shows plays of songs. Sometimes I'll plug my phone in and it'll update my plays, and it says 52 on one of them. That must be. That took a while to learn, So.
But I think it's very individual. I prefer full mix almost all the time. The bass only, because I can hear the bass part very clear in the full mix. So the full mix and my second most listen is baritone predominant.
He likes baritone.
Because I don't know. I think it's a thing that I use more than anyone else. I've never heard, but I just like it's important for me to have this sort of connection. When I know Emmanuel's, it just makes more sense to me to sing like that. So.
Yeah, and so what I'll do is, when I feel like I'm starting to know the song, I switch to the no lead part, for instance, and I'll have like speakers, and I'll start singing it at home, or when I have a no in the car, if I can put it on in the car with the no lead part, and I'll start getting a feel for it. And that's when it really starts. I start realizing things like, oh, maybe I don't really feel like I like this really high stuff here, really high and loud. I said, Jacob, hi Jacob, can you take my really high loud stuff and measure 44, 45, and then we'll switch back. Stuff like that will happen.
Yeah. Sorry, Jacob. This is really late in the learning process with the learning tracks. What you were asking about. So this might be one of the last processes with the learning track when you're doing the missing part.
Is that all before you rehearse it together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So the missing part is really good, because otherwise you can sort of trick yourself that you know the song better than you really do. So it's really like a test for yourself. Yeah. Without sheet music, you hear a quartet, and this is something you can do anywhere. You can sit in the car and just hear all 3 other parts, and then you'll know straight away if you knew it or not.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll even import it into like GarageBand, and I'll have headphones on or something, or I'll press rec and just record one take. Can I nail the lead part? And I record myself, and then there's me and a lot of Tims singing the song. And I can email the result and like, hey, I know it.
Yeah. For memorizing songs, this doesn't necessarily apply to all songs, but many songs have themes and things that reoccur throughout the song. So I sometimes try to like find patterns within the song, like things that reoccur often, and almost like in my mind, like color paint different things. Yeah. And so all songs are gonna have like little changes in all those places. But if I know that things are gonna reoccur, then I sort of can get that in my backbone really quick, but just recognize that those things are gonna come back, and then I can focus on the changes instead, like the tricky stuff to remember, you know, the start of a phrase, it can lead into the same verse, but it's a little different every time, you know, so then I can focus on those things instead.
As far as lyrics, let's get back to that. That can be hard. For us, English is second language, right? So sometimes when we hear just a full mix and we're just enjoying a song, we're not even thinking about the lyrics. I've been starting to think a lot about lyrics since I've been the lead of this quartet, and English has become a bigger and bigger part of my life, and the meaning of words, you know, it's more and more and more important to me as I'm learning. But sometimes it's just, you know, I don't even think about the lyrics. So learning the lyrics can be kind of hard if you haven't really thought about what the words are, and you haven't really thought about what they mean. So what I usually try to do to make sure that I absolutely am very, very sure about the words is I just pronounce them so much that if I don't get it right, it's going to be very wrong.
Yeah.
If I like, we're learning some next generation chorus songs, and you're just sitting there like not really trying to pronounce, then you're not going to know the lyrics very well. If you, I'm a fool, but I'm sad, then you're going to know it, or not. It's going to be very clear when you know the words or not. Very clear. And another thing I do, it's like getting back to a song that was a while ago we sang or something. I'll say the lyrics of the song really fast to make sure I don't have to think about them. That's another method I use. Like, there's nothing you can do that can't be done, nothing you can sing that can't be said, and then I know I'm not going to have time to like dig somewhere in my brain and think about it, because on stage you don't really have time to think about the lyrics. Wait, hold on a second, I have to think about this next verse. No, that, you know, has to be automatically. The words has to just come automatically, like a reflex or something. Yes.
If you do it, when do you have a discussion about what does this song mean to the four of you, so you can be on the same visual page on the song?
I mean, we are sound guys. We will stand in a cube and just get the sound right first, and then after all of that is sorted, we'll go to the visuals. I think the day after tomorrow we're gonna discuss more about the sort of presentation part of it.
And I think everyone is different in like how they relate to a song. Some people listen more for the like music, and more people and other people are more about the lyrics. So that's pretty individual, I think. But I think both sides of that can, you know, come together in a visual plan just as well. Because music in itself without lyrics can express feelings and things like that. And if it's a good arrangement, then usually the lyrics and the music are sort of together.
Complement each other.
But also in like competition material that we have picked, we will discuss, you know, the feeling and how we feel about the song even before we ask an arranger.
Yeah.
So like, guys, what do you feel about these songs? Yeah, I like this one. It kind of has this good feeling to it about this. You know, so it'll happen in different stages with different songs.
I mean, before Portland, we had some song choices that we were like, are we gonna maybe get this arranged or this arranged? And some songs we really liked, but a couple of us like, this is just gonna be really difficult to visualize to the audience. The message is sort of too complicated. So, I mean, we think about the message almost before we pick the song, and then we go more into detail once that's sorted.
Okay, so we're gonna move on a bit, so this is like a preparation for before rehearsal, because we want to come to rehearsal knowing the songs, so we don't have to, you know, spend time reading music or, you know, figure things out. So we go to like how we warm up, because we usually want to come to the rehearsals already warmed up. So, you know, everyone have their own little ways of doing that, I suppose, but it's something really neat. Like, we warm up every day, even if we're not gonna have a rehearsal of some sort, or not gonna sing. It's just a very good thing to keep your voice fit. So it's a muscle like anything else. It needs its exercise. So a good, 20-30 minutes. Personally, shower I think is perfect for a good start. It's the classical one, but it's humid and nice, and it's what I do is just sort of I do rolling R's. Some people do the what do you call it, bubbling, and I will do that my entire. I will sound ridiculous to my neighbors, and just like nice range where I don't have to strain my voice at all. And that's pretty much I will do scales like that and rolling and make sure everything is in place. And then that's my preparation for the day. So then I can come to any singing related thing later, and I'm going to be somewhat ready. Then at rehearsal, we're going to come to that in a bit, but even then we spend some time making sure we're warmed up before we get into really hardcore, stuff like climaxes and high straining things.
Yeah.
And we're going to get more into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a question about individual warming ups.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you have very high tenor voice, and then you've got a very low bass voice. And for a woman to be teaching, I'm a music teacher in school, and so for a woman to be teaching boys is kind of difficult because we go through completely different mechanisms to warm up our own voices.
Yeah.
So what are some techniques that you